Okay. Here's Sarah right here. There's a couple things. One, I just wanted to wrap up, or I guess wrap up for the week. Wrap up our discussion of the comment essay for the week. We'll continue discussing it. And I wanted to mention, or I wanted to just give you some directions about the midterm itself. If you're checking D2L, um, the assignment folder for your common essay has been made, and there's also a folder for your midterm. Okay. Yeah, hopefully everybody's doing well this rainy morning. Okay. Guess it's a good day if you're some grass, or a plant.
Mm.
Yeah. I got a plant I'm trying to bring back to life outside, so it looks to be doing well. All right. So yeah, let's get right into it. Okay, let's get right into it. And I think Monday when we first started talking about the common essay, you know, a couple things I wanted you to work on are just trying to get your thesis statement together and then brainstorming those ideas. So really, that's what I'm going to be looking for in your first draft. The content, we can continue building it, but just make sure, when you submit your first draft that you have a thesis statement, or you at least have an idea. And we can worry about how it sounds later, but make sure you have a thesis statement. Good people, look back at that common essay strategies handout that we went over during Monday's session. Also look at the thesis statement material that's on D2L in the week 8 module. All right. And those documents and slides are designed just to give you some ideas for the thesis statement. Make sure your thesis statement addresses the prompt, meaning remember in this essay, it's all about how Patricia showed Trevor her love. So make sure your thesis statement addresses that in one way or another. But I encourage you to look back at those examples though. Look back at those examples. You can take one, like I said, and make it your own. You can come up with your own original one. That's fine. But just remember, what you come up with, you're going to have to support it through the essay. So, if you're discussing tough love, think about some specific examples from the text, right? Or, whatever you're discussing. All right. So if we look back into this week 8 module on D2L, I've added a few more things to it. We just move some stuff around real quick. Okay, I've added this pie paragraph document that we're about to take a look at. And then I've added the midterm and the common essay. This is the same stuff we went over. This is just the assignment folder. So when you get ready to turn your common essay in, you can just click that. All right, and then upload yours. Okay, mine looks different because it's giving me these teacher options, but you'll have the option to submit. Okay. 3-page minimum. 3-page minimum for your first draft. But really, try to get your thesis statement intact. All right. And let's look at this real quick. If you remember from Monday, right? A good strategy for building your body paragraphs. Okay. Good strategy for building your body paragraphs is what's called a pie paragraph. And just to reiterate, I'm still here. You can't see me, but I'm still here. Just to reiterate, okay, pie just means point, information, explanation. All right. Point, information, explanation. Okay. The point is the main idea of the paragraph. Information is an example that shows how the topic sentence is true. And then your explanation, which is your follow-up, to a quote. Just to repeat, one more time, don't start or end body paragraphs, with quotes. Always use your own words. Now, what we're looking at Wait, am I sharing? Yes. Okay, what we're looking at is, this is a body paragraph, right? And it looks kind of long, but we're actually going to get rid of some of this stuff because it does have some sentences in here that don't belong. Because we still want to keep our focus on unified paragraphs, to the best of our abilities. I know this is our first draft, but try your best, to have unified paragraphs. And the best way to gauge that is to look back at your topic sentences when you're developing a paragraph, and you're putting the details in. Look back at that topic sentence. Did I stick to my topic sentence? Okay, or did I go off topic a little bit? Do I have something in this paragraph that doesn't belong, something that I need to get rid of? Which is fine, it happens. Okay, now again, this is just one paragraph, so it looks like it's standing by itself. It doesn't have a heading or anything like that. I'm just showing it as an example. Okay, so let's look at it, right? First off, we start off with our topic sentence, or if we're using the pie method, this will be the P, right? Or the point. Okay, the main idea of the paragraph. And remember, folks, the main idea, invisible fence. Can't go outside of this fence. Okay, can't go outside of this fence. Trevor's mother may have been hard on him at times, but she always supported him when he needed it most. That lets the reader know that this paragraph is going to discuss a time when Patricia supported Trevor when he needed it most. Okay, that's the fence we have to stay behind for this paragraph. Okay, let's see if we stay behind our fence. Right, so now we're going to get right into the discussion of an example, a specific example from the book. As a sixth grade student at Maryvale Catholic School, Trevor unfortunately experiences being bullied. Okay, that's true. That came right from the book. Okay, we're describing. No one wants to be bullied. It can be very traumatizing and have lasting effects. Let's stop right there. Let's stop right there. Now, that's very true. Okay, no one likes to be bullied. And it's also true that being bullied can have traumatizing effects. But do we need to say that in this paragraph or in this essay? Okay. So sometimes there is that temptation to put our personal commentary in there. All right. But we have to resist that temptation. Okay. We have to resist that urge, and let's stick to it, because something like this, these two statements, okay, like I said, they're true, but they can also distract our readers. So we want to keep our paragraph unified, right? So we're talking about this specific incident from the book. Then we have these two sentences as our personal commentary, but then we go right back into the discussion of the book, which is a shift that your reader may not be ready for, or like I was saying, these sentences may distract your reader. So if we get rid of these sentences, okay, and if we look at the comments on the side, okay, no need for this type of commentary. Let me move you guys out of the way. No need for this type of commentary. Avoid filler statements. Okay, this paragraph is just fine without this. So we can pick right back up. When a bully threatens to beat him up the following day, Trevor brings a knife to school to protect himself. Although Trevor said he had no intention of using the knife, the school's principal gives him an ultimatum after he discovers the knife, or after he discovers it, you could say. Essentially, the principal tells him either to conform to the rules of the school or don't return. Trevor chooses the latter and is promptly expelled. Hearing the news of their child being expelled from school would send most parents through the roof with anger, but Patricia supported Trevor's decision to leave Maryvale. Okay. Now, she always supported him when he needed it most. Trevor just got kicked out of school. Okay. Or he sort of got kicked out of school. But Patricia supported Trevor's decision to leave. Okay. So if we're checking our work, we're being consistent. She always supported him. Patricia supported Trevor's decision to leave. Okay. Now, all right, we're just going to reinforce that with a quote from the text. Trevor describes how his mother had his back after he was expelled. Okay. Now, let's stop right here. Remember the format of our quotes, right? We have our signal phrase. We could have just gone Trevor writes, okay, Trevor notes, but we went a little fancy with this signal phrase, but it still serves the same purpose. Okay, like if we got rid of all this and we just had, okay, that'll work just fine. That'll work just fine. Okay, so if you're just learning and you're just starting to use signal phrases, maybe you want to start off just using this, and then as you get some practice in, all right, you can get more creative with your signal phrases. Okay, and then make sure your signal phrase, boom, ends with a comma. All right, and then go right into your quote. Trevor describes how his mother had his back after he was expelled. Quote, but more than that, she thought the school was overreacting. The truth is, she probably took my side against Maryvale more often than not. Okay, when you're using a quote, okay, when you're incorporating a quote into a paragraph, make sure it speaks directly to the idea that you're mentioning. Okay. Don't include quotes because you have to have them. Make sure they're relevant quotes. Okay. And then you see how this one really doesn't take up much of the paragraph. Okay. So this is original wording, even though we're describing what's happening in the book, and then we follow it up with original wording. But the quote, very short. Okay. And I mentioned it Monday when we first started discussing this. Quoted material, it's necessary for this paper, but it should only make up a small part of this essay. And when I say small part, I mean like 10, 15%. But the majority of it should be, your own words or your own analysis, your own discussion. Okay. So we have our signal phrase, then we have our quote. Remember the quote exactly how it is, exactly how it appears in the text, and then we have our citation here, last name, page number, and then the period goes outside of the parentheses. Now we got our point, we got our information. Now we need our explanation. Patricia could have sided with Maryvale and punished Trevor for bringing a knife to school and being expelled, but she chose to have her son's back, showing him that her love was unconditional. Okay. Now, got another one of these commentary things. It surprised me that she stood with him through this whole ordeal. That's great, that you had that kind of connection, or, that you were engaging on that level. But again, stuff like that, it doesn't belong. Okay. Statements like this, right? Don't belong here. Okay. And it disrupts our paragraph's unity also. Okay. Now we get right back into the flow of it. The incident at Maryvale was one of the many instances where Patricia showed her undying support for her son. Okay. So we have our point, which is the topic sentence. We have our information, which is an example from the text, often including a quote, often, not all the time, but often. Okay. And then we have our explanation, which is a follow-up to a quote or follow-up to our example in our own words. Okay. And once we edited this paragraph, we got rid of the filler. Okay. Nobody wants to be bullied. It can be traumatizing and have lasting effects. That is right. No one likes to be bullied, and it can have lasting effects. But this essay isn't the place to say that. Okay. Keep it focused on Trevor. Keep it focused on this incident that happened, at Trevor's school, or, when they got thrown out of a car, or, when they, went to the dance party with Hitler. All right. Whatever you're talking about, keep it focused on that one example in that paragraph. And when you go back to revise, or when you go back, to take a second look at this paragraph, you're going to be asking yourself, okay, do I have material in this essay that doesn't belong? And then the flip side of that is, did I answer that question, right? What does my reader need to know? Meaning, don't just say, Trevor got put out of school and Patricia was there. Give a little detail. What happened? Why did he get kicked out of school? Because your reader's going to be wondering that. Okay. What do you mean he suffered the consequences? Well, the principal gave him that ultimatum. Basically to shape up or ship out. Okay, and he chose to ship out. Okay, I keep saying he's expelled, but I guess he got it. He got expelled. The principal asked him to leave in a roundabout way. Okay, even if you aren't using the pie method. Okay, even though you probably will be using the pie method, even if you don't call it the pie method, because most good body paragraphs have a point and some information, supporting details, and then an explanation. But if you don't want to put it in those terms, just remember that a good body paragraph needs a topic sentence. All of your body paragraphs are starting with topic sentences for this essay, and a topic sentence, just states the main idea. She always supported Trevor. Okay, then you need relevant supporting details. If you say in your topic sentence, well, Patricia always supported Trevor when he needed it most, that's what that paragraph has to be about. Okay, that's what that paragraph has to be about. All right, now, okay, you guys, right, you're in the process of working on your first rough draft. Okay, maybe you're still in the brainstorming process. Maybe you have started drafting already. Wherever you are, just make sure you get draft number one in 1 week from today. And just a few things about this draft. One, it's what I said on Monday. Don't turn in a summary of the book. Okay. You're going to be discussing the book, but you're going to be discussing with purpose, meaning you're going to be discussing the ways in which Patricia shows her love for Trevor. Okay. So don't turn in a summary of the book. Also, don't put so much pressure on yourself to get this essay done that you get stuck. Meaning Wednesday comes around and you say, hey, Fresno, I only got like a paragraph or 1 page or whatever. Okay. Sometimes stuff happens in your life. I know we're having some rough weather, flooding, people's power is on and off, people's internet is on and off. That's one thing. Okay. Those are obstacles that are kind of out of our control. All right. But the obstacles I'm talking about is like, man, I just couldn't think about anything to write about. Okay, keep going. Keep going. And then go back to your brainstorm. Okay. If you get stuck. And that's what I was saying, when we first started discussing this thing, you know, brainstorm some ideas, brainstorm some examples. And just like I said before, when you're brainstorming, anything that comes to mind, anything that comes to mind. Okay. Even if it seems that you're reaching for an idea, you aren't going to use all the ideas you come up with when you're brainstorming, but it's always best to come up with more than you're going to actually use. So you may have like 5 or 6 examples of, Patricia showing her love to Trevor in, whatever, some unorthodox way. That's fine. All right. But when you're putting your paper together, you only might need 3 of them. But it's just good to have those additional ones as opposed to just, scrambling at the last moment, to come up with an example. All right. So, continue your brainstorming, continue working on your thesis statement, most definitely. But yeah, folks, get busy, man, and do your best, knowing that there's 2 more drafts, after the one you're working on. So even if this one isn't coming together the way you want it to, keep going, because the more you give, the more you submit, the more I can give you feedback on. Okay. So get it done. Get it done. Get it done. We're almost home in this semester. Okay. Almost there. All right, now, I said I wasn't going to keep you guys too long today, so let's get right into the midterm. Where is the midterm, Professor Norwood? It's in the week 8 module. Okay, I'm going to switch over to student view so mine will look like yours. Okay. Okay. Oh, here's Monday's Zoom session if you didn't look at it, or if you missed out on Monday's Zoom session, or if you just want to review some comment essay stuff. Okay, to get to the midterm, there's a couple ways you can do it. One, you can go to assignments. Okay, here it is. And if you look, there's 2 of them, and I'll explain why there's 2 of them in a minute. You can also get to the midterm. You can just go to the week 8 module and oh, that's the wrong week. I was wondering where it went. Okay, go to the week 8 module, and here it is right here. Midterm comment annotation. And it's called the comment annotation. Every English 1060 student, who's reading this book, Royal Oak, Southfield, possibly Orchard Ridge, we're all doing the same thing. Okay, just click on that. And now there are 2 of them. Okay, one is a Word document, and the other is a PDF. Depending on what you have on your computer, like if you use Google Docs, or if you don't have Word, use the PDF version. All right, I think it's this one. Okay, that was the Word document. All right. Okay, here's the PDF one. All right, now here is what the midterm is asking you to do. Basically the same thing that you've been doing in your books every week. Take some notes. Okay, I'm just gonna do the Word one first. Okay, now another thing about your midterm, you like I've been mentioning the final assessment a little bit, for the last few weeks, where you have to read an article and then put an essay together. This article, not this specific article, but what you're about to do for your midterm, that's actually what the first part of your final assessment is going to be. So in a lot of ways, this is like a practice for your final assessment. Okay. The only difference is there's no essay to write, with the midterm. Okay. All you're doing is reading and annotating. That's it. All right. Now, okay, this thing is how long is 13 pages, but as you can see, there's a lot of pictures, right? So there's really not it's really not a real 13 pages. Okay, there's a chart right there for you, and the text is kind of sparse. All right, so it's not super long. All right, it's not super long. Okay, so here's your job. Okay, you can use these tools up here, right? What you'll need for this is this comments thing, but I'll come back to that in a second. All right, if you want to highlight something, you can choose the color. Just hit this little drop down thing, right? Choose a color. Stay away from these darker colors because the text doesn't really show up that well. But yellow, green, turquoise, basically the ones I use for your papers, because I use those because they show up the best. All right, red, you can use that if you want to. It's just as a teacher, I don't use it. All right. Right? So when you want to highlight something, you can just drag your highlighter over it. Okay. And then to get out a highlighter, usually it switches back by itself, or you can just turn it off up here. Okay. Now, okay. When you want to make a comment, okay, and when don't make this harder than it is. All right, because it's really just clicking and typing. Okay. When you want to make a comment, right? Just highlight whatever you want to comment on. Okay, I got this highlighted, right? You're going into read. Wait, let me see if now I have the comment thing is one of my shortcuts. But let me see if I can take it off. and just add it again. Because I use comments a lot because I have to read so many papers. So it's just easier for me to make it a shortcut. But to get to it the long way, all right, you want to go review and then new comment. All right. But my suggestion to you, let me see if I could oh yeah. My suggestion to you would be to like right click on this and then go add to quick access toolbar. And that puts it right back up here. Okay. And that's just an easier way to get it. So now you don't have to go to review every time. You can click right here. Or you still have to highlight what you're going to comment on, but you can click right here and then it gives you this comment box. All right. And then when you're done, you can I think no, you don't hit enter. They changed that from the last time. All right. When you're done, you can just hit this little arrow right here. And then there's your comment. Okay. There's your comment. All right. And then okay. I haven't read this, or I'm not. I've read this, but I'm not reading it now based on this comment I'm about to make. But you can also make comments like that, like this. All right. So what I'm saying is, one of the things you can do, aside from your personal observations, obviously, but you can also make notes on things that have a connection to Born a Crime. Okay. Oh, this is just like when Patricia did, X, Y, and Z. Okay. So you can do that as well. You can make your text to text connections. You can make your text to self connections. You can make your text to world connections. All right. You can highlight words, that you need to look up. Okay. All right. Highlight stuff you want to look up. Right. Highlight stuff you found interesting. If you want to, you can underline. All right, but you don't have to. Okay. Underline, you can just hit you can use this, or you can hold down Control U and it'll underline for you. But you don't have to underline anything. And you really don't have to highlight on this. This is really just an exercise in taking notes. All right. And like I was saying, when Monday, or I think it was this class, I can't remember. Like I was saying though, the only way your midterm will turn out bad for you is if you're only underlining, if you're only highlighting, or if you don't take any notes at all. All right. So take notes. And when you take notes, always remember that it's quality over quantity. Okay. And every student's different. Some will have a ton of notes, a note everywhere. And then some will have just maybe a couple of notes on every page. That's up to you. And the quality of your notes makes a difference. All right. Quality of your notes makes a difference. But really, as with most, if not all, instances where you're taking notes, okay, it's going to be for your eyes, meaning you're going to be taking notes on things that you deem important, you deem noteworthy. Okay. So, everybody's midterm is going to be different. Okay. As far as, what is pointed out. Okay. I think you can comment on the images too. Oh, yeah. Okay. So if you want to comment on an image, maybe there's a chart or something. Okay. Oh, that's another thing they changed. You can't start a new comment until you like exit out of one. Okay. Maybe there's a comment on the chart. That's fine. Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Yeah, folks. If you're you know, if you're if you're looking up a word, definitely put the definition in the comment. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. It's my cousin right here. No, I don't know. Might be though. Okay.
You might be for real.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It might be. All right. Here we go. So yeah, folks. Now, okay. So that's how you do it at Word. All right. Drag your mouse over whatever you want to make a comment. Oh yeah, I'm fancy. Okay. All right. There it is. Okay. You don't have to put your name on this or anything because it's going to go right into your own assignment folder. So I already know whose is whose. Okay. This is good because I before E. Okay. I still have to say the old rules to myself. Okay. So, some of your notes, you may have a couple sentences, right? Other times you may just have a word, okay, or a symbol, right? Or it may be a definition of a word that you looked up. Okay. But this is if you want a quick rundown about apartheid, right? These are some good bullet points. Okay. 1948 to 1994. And that was just on paper, but in a lot of things, it's just like, in the US, there's the letter of the law, and then there's the law of the land. I mean, the letter of the law is like what it says legally. Law of the land is like how, what the practice is. Okay, what the practice is. So, and we'll read more about that because we're gonna start talking about apartheid's American counterpart, Jim Crow, in the future. Okay. So maybe you do want to comment, on some of these images. That's fine. Or some of the charts. That's fine too. Okay. When you're done with it, when you're done with this, folks, make sure you save it. Okay. Go to file, save as. You can call it midterm, you can call it whatever you want, but you're gonna have to save it, in order for your comments to save. And then when it's done, upload it just like you would upload any other assignment. Okay. And from a PDF, people. Okay. Boom. You have the same options. All right. It just looks different. You can still highlight and you can still, make comments. Okay. To highlight, you're just gonna, same thing, click on your highlighter. You used to be able to change the colors with this highlighter, but I haven't figured out how to do it since I did it once. Okay. But it's the same thing. You can just drag your mouse over whatever you want to highlight. Let me go back. need, okay. So to highlight, you can just grab your highlighter and then just drag it over whatever you want to highlight. Okay. And then to comment on a PDF, this is where it's kind of different. Whereas all of the comments in Microsoft Word are lined up on the side, but the PDF comments, they're wherever you put them. So click on this comment box. And then just drag it to wherever you want to put your comment. And when you're done, you can just hit post. Another thing about PDFs, you're gonna have to move your comments out of the way. So there's your comment right there. All right. So again, just click on the comment box right here and just put it wherever you want to make the comment and just double click it to open it. And then all right, and go post. Oops. Yeah, post. And it's the same thing. When you're done with this, just make sure you save it and then just upload it, like you would upload any other document. Okay. So whatever you have, whether you're using Google Docs or Word, the midterm is available for you. Okay. I just turned one in. Wait, or did I? Oh yeah, I did. Okay. So I already submitted one. So I already finished my midterm. So I'm just chill out this weekend. No, a ton of papers to read. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm done. Okay. And okay. There's a few things that I'm gonna make visible for you guys. Okay. Now, okay. If you need to know how to I guess if you're still don't know how to comment, rewatch this the last 10 minutes, of this recording when I post it. I'll also have another recording um of just how to comment in Word. And the PDF is essentially the same, just with that slightly different. But between the PDF and the Word version of it, I think we should have it covered. And then a final option is if you have a printer and don't mind using the ink, just print that. That's a lot of ink though, because there's a lot of images in the in that article. So, but if you want to, you can print it out, make your comments by hand and then scan it and put it back in the assignment folder. But that seems like a lot of work, and that's a lot of ink. And ink ain't cheap, man. Ink ain't cheap. Okay. So yes, that's all I got for today, my good people. So, and I will, once I get this uploaded to YouTube.